All right, everyone, we have a lot of stuff to get into today. It really has been complete insanity in Raid Shadow Legends over the last few days. Tons of stuff happening. Now, unfortunately, today I wanted to start off with something a bit more negative, and I normally don't like to do this. You guys know how I am with my videos, but this is absolutely something that I have to call out Plarium for, because this is a major mistake that they've not only made once now, but this is the second time that they've done this. And I did talk about it the first time because it really is kind of one of those baffling mistakes where you're thinking to yourself, man, how does something like this even happen? But now that it's happened twice, it really is kind of a little bit too far, and I absolutely have to say my thoughts and opinions on this. You guys can always be rest assured, no matter where the channel goes, my thoughts, my opinions, and how I feel about stuff is always going to come as my #1 priority, whether it's positive, whether it's negative. It's kind of one of the things that I really value highly about having YouTube content out there. So what I'm talking about is indeed a pop-up offer that actually is up right now. Now, the pop-up offer that you guys will see for this bonus ancient pack is not actually going to look like it did earlier today. So they have this bonus ancient pack with ancient shards and gems. Of course, the price will be a bit different depending on, of course, Plarium's algorithm and the way that they use to determine how they price packs for you based on how much you spent on the game. But the problem is this bonus ancient pack did not read out bonus ancient pack before. When they first put this pack out earlier today, it actually read out double ancient. So this is a screenshot of what this pack actually looked like earlier today for a few hours, and as you guys can see, it says double ancient pack, 2 times chances of epics and legendaries from ancient shards. For a limited time, we've doubled the summon rates for epic and legendary champions. Grab yours now. Well, I'm sure some of you guys already know why this is a bit of a problem, and if you guys don't know why this is a bit of a problem, that's exactly why it is, and that is because we don't actually have a double rates event going on right now. So this pack was improperly labeled, and there are a lot of people playing Raid Shadow Legends who probably fell victim for this yet again. Just like this happened before, there was actually another pack a while ago that had the same thing for Void Shards, where it said Void Rush 1, 2 times the chances for epics and legendaries. Exact same situation. There was no Void Rush out. You weren't getting double the chances from Void Shards for epics and legendaries. It was misproperly labeled, and they corrected it a few hours later. I talked about it then. It's a big mistake. There's a lot of people playing Raid Shadow Legends. You know what? If it happens once, I can totally see it, but now the fact that the absolute exact same thing has happened again for ancient shards, it's really bad. Now, there's something else really bad that absolutely infuriates me that has made this even worse, in my opinion, than when it happened with the Void Shards. And it's not the fact that they've even made this mistake again, but it's the fact that we have a brand new, insane Champion Chase tournament that is out right now that is really going to try to bait people into pulling from a lot of shards, because we have a ton of new champions as rewards from this insane Champion Chase tournament. I'm going to talk about this a little bit in more detail later on in the video, because that's a whole topic on itself. But as you guys can see, there is a Ray for first place. If you go to the global leaderboards, there is a Venus for first place. So you have this Champion Chase tournament that is really appealing to summon shards from, and then you have a pop-up offer that is improperly labeled that pops up double ancients. This is a recipe for disaster, and I really, really hope those of you guys watching the video did not fall victim to this, because it really sucks, and I hate to be negative, but this has not only happened once, it's happened twice now, and with the combination of the Champion Chase tournament, this is absolutely something that I really feel like Plarium needs to be called out for. So Plarium, if you guys are listening, you know, I know you recently sponsored Stu Gaming or gave him a big shout out. That, if anything, is another reason to just show you guys how many people actually end up playing this game. He ended up getting 30,000 subscribers from this in just a few hours. There's a lot of people who see these pop-up offers, and to make this mistake twice now while there's another really appealing event going on, if anything, it's just more proof to show you guys that this is a much bigger deal than you might actually think it is. So, and as I said earlier, my opinions, my thoughts, no matter what they are, positive or negative, always come as my #1 priority when it comes to making videos. So, you know, this is something I really felt like I had to say, so I'm gonna say it. Now, with that all being said, let's move on to some other stuff that is going on. I talked about it briefly because it did tie in with that mistake of labeling that pack incorrectly. But we do have a new Champion Chase tournament that is going on, and this is actually another really big point of big news, because this is the first time that Plarium has offered a legendary champion, not only for the global leaderboards, which they've been doing for a while now, but they also offered another legendary champion as well for your bracket rewards. So as you guys can see, we have the bracket rewards, just like for the champion training tournament that is going on right now. You get a legendary champion awarded for first place for every bracket of 250 people or so. I know that for something, a little bit of a correction, a lot of people said that it's not Lissandra for everyone. If you are a newer player, these tournament brackets are going to be a little bit different. The amount of points that you need for the rewards are going to be different, and your competitive prizes will also be a bit different. Some people have said that they're getting rewards like High Katoon and Seeker and other stuff instead of the legendary champions. It's probably because you are a newer player. But having the possibility of 2 legendary champions as rewards instead of just one means that one person out there, whoever ends up getting first place from this Champion Chase tournament, is going to get 2 legendary champions, whereas before you've only ever had the possibility of getting 1. So first place is going to end up getting the Venus for the global leaderboard first place, and of course, because they got the global leaderboard first place, they're always going to be first place in their own personal bracket as well, so they're also going to get a Ray. Pretty crazy. Now, I will say that even though this is the craziest Champion Chase tournament that we've had so far, we do not have a double rates event going on right now. Again, this is why this false advertisement of the double ancient pack, even though it was technically a quote mistake, why it infuriates me even more is because we don't have a double rates event going on right now, guys. So those of you who don't really have a lot of resources or don't spend a lot of money, or you really want to get the most value out of your shards, I still recommend that you guys save them up for a double rates event. I know it requires patience, but these events really are for the whales. If you can't end up getting some of the top prizes, it's going to be much more worthwhile for you to hold off on your shards, because every single shard that you pull from, you are missing out on the opportunity to essentially get double the reward. So it's like as if you save your shards for a bit later. It's like you get 2 ancient shards for the price of 1. Of course, it's not quite like that because you still only get 1 champion. So if you need a bunch of rares still, it's not quite like that, but it is a really, really big difference. So if you are limited, please consider saving your resources for something else, despite all the craziness that's going on. I feel like Plarium has recently just been throwing so much stuff at us because there is some big stuff coming up in the future. And as you guys can tell from the video today, from the video yesterday, there's just nonstop news, announcements, things going on. I really feel like this is the time where they are trying to get people to use their resources before they release the 1.13 patch, which is going to be coming up really, really soon. Now, great transition, because as we speak of the 1.13 patch, we actually do indeed have some more news and info about that kind of stuff. So I'm not sure if you guys have noticed, this is something else that people have been asking me to at least mention, but there's been a lot of crashing issues in the game. There's been a lot of downtime, a lot more maintenance for Raid Shadow Legends than there has been in the past, and I am completely aware of this, guys. I noticed this especially when I use Plarium Play. Every time that I use Plarium Play to run dungeons overnight, it crashes very quickly. So unfortunately, I've had to revert back to using BlueStacks when it comes to my overnight farming. If you guys do overnight farming, I highly recommend that you guys check that out, because it's been a lot more stable and a lot more reliable. I am aware that Plarium Play runs a lot smoother, and technically it does offer a better gameplay experience, but because it's just been crashing so much, if I want to farm overnight, I really don't have a choice. So if you guys have been having that same issue, feel free to check out BlueStacks. Unfortunately, it is a bit inferior in terms of graphical quality and whatnot, but at least it doesn't crash every night that I run it. So I am aware, and Plarium did indeed post about this in the actual Discord. They have a long post talking about this, and we did get some compensation as well. So this was posted by Cirilla in the official Discord. Guys, we know that you have faced quite a few problems in the game today. The errors that popped up when trying to buy packs have been fixed. If you are still seeing a discrepancy in the number of points that you have in the tourney tab and in your personal counter tab, please try to clear your cache and relog in. That's only a visual bug. Your points are fine server side. Now, we do understand the most painful subject is the Ancient Shards pack with the wrong description. That's why I spent a good amount of the video talking about it today. This is especially infuriating to me, considering they've made this mistake twice now as well. There's no ×2 for Ancients. We will always warn you about that, those at least a day in advance. We are very sorry for this one. We're going to give you guys compensation for these hardships today, and I know that you guys have been hungry to know what our next patch will include, so here are a few of the things. Now, normally this would not be big news, but this is actually the first info that we've really had about the Battle Pass, which is really interesting. Now, I originally thought that the Battle Pass would be PvP only. I don't know why, but I just felt like it was like a PvP thing. But it turns out that the Battle Pass is actually going to include PvE stuff as well. So number 1, Battle Pass, new exciting quests for you. Now, my prediction as well is the Battle Pass is going to function very similar to Battle Pass systems in other games, where you have to purchase it to unlock a whole bunch of stuff. Generally, hopefully though, the purchase fee should be very small in comparison to the rewards that you get. And also, if you don't end up making the purchase, you can still kind of work on the rewards on the side before you decide to buy it, or you can kind of work on like a free version of it, and then there's like a paid version. I don't know exactly how Plarium is doing this. I'm just going off of other Battle Pass systems, but I hope that they don't go too overboard and make it too pay to win or too crazy like that. There will be an event with multi-battles in dungeons. This is really cool. I'm really looking forward to this. I know I've mentioned that in Raid Shadow Legends, it seems like all the events that we have kind of work around existing content. It would be really cool to see some new events pop up where there's actual new content that directly revolves around the events. I'm hoping that this is a segue into that, but I guess we'll just kind of have to wait and find out some more info about that in the future. We will double the number of battles in the multi-battle mode, both free and in subscriptions. I honestly am just still shocked how it's so limited. You know, the multi-battle is a great feature. It would really eliminate a lot of the need to use things like BlueStacks for AFK because it is so limited. I mean, I don't know why it's such a small number. 40 just doesn't really go a very long way once you get into the mid and the late game. You're going to be doing a lot more farming than 40 campaign battles a day. So, I mean, a doubling is a great start, but I wish it was even more. But hey, you know what? At least it's a start, so that's pretty cool, I guess. We will rebalance these legendary champions, Shamrock, Sathalia, Angar, Foley, and Yannicka. Now, we've known about champions like Shamrock for a while, but now we have some more champions on the list. A little bit surprised about Foley. I know he's a bit weak in comparison to certain legendaries, but I wouldn't say he's one of the weakest champions. He's kind of like, I would say, very in the middle of the road. So to see him on this list already, a little bit surprising, but hey, champion rebalances are always good news. And this art includes a lot of Easter eggs for our future releases. So speaking of that compensation, I will mention this and I will end things off on a little bit of a positive note because a lot of this video has really been a bit more negative, and I hate to be that way, but sometimes, you know, I gotta say what I gotta say, especially when it comes to Plarium making really big mistakes like they did today. But to end things off on a bit of a more positive note, the compensation that they did offer was very generous. I will not lie, Plarium very rarely ends up giving out gems for compensation. They've only done this maybe once or twice before. It's almost always the typical bit of energy, one arena refill bag, and a couple of clan boss keys. But they went a bit above and beyond today and offered some additional rewards that they don't normally do, including those gems, as well as a 5-star chicken in addition to that. So pretty decent compensation rewards. I know the crashing issues have been not so great. Hopefully they get better in the future, but you know, at least it's moving in the right direction in that sense. So lots of stuff, guys. I know it's been really crazy. Like I said earlier, I think this craziness means that something big is coming up soon. So as a final note, I will say be careful with the resources. Even though there is a ton of stuff going on in game right now, I would still err on the side of caution, especially if you guys are a bit more conservative in that sense, because usually when Plarium bombards us with tons of stuff like they do right now, that means that a lot of stuff is coming up in the future, like new content and things like that. So with that all being said, that's going to be it for the video today, though. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope that you guys enjoyed, and if you did, consider subscribing to the channel for more videos like this in the future. If you want to help out, tossing a quick like means more than you can imagine, so thank you to all of you guys who do that. And more Raid Shadow Legends videos should be popping up on the screen right about now. Feel free to check them out. Over 100 Raid videos on the channel. Thank you guys for all the support, and until next time, this is Salt of the Salty Guild, signing out.